You're all I need to get by. I, you're some summer breeze. Okay. Yeah. And I don't care. It was like someone told me the other day I was singing on live and they said, don't give up your day job. Uh, um, yeah. I think you think I was singing because I cared about you having an opinion about my singing. Yeah. It's like I tell you people about the you look at like, but you need I like your red beard. I didn't ask. I think people have this idea that because they see you, they have an input into how you choose to look. I don't I don't wear my beard or stay in shape, any of this for anybody. I do this for me. Yeah, I do it for me. So let's not get carried away. I appreciate it that you appreciate it, but just appreciate it and keep moving. I know it's been a long day out today. Well, we're gonna get to it. Just a minute. We have some things we're gonna share. We have some things we're gonna talk about. I have some people pissed off. And remember, Petra, tell them, anyone, this is not the airport. You don't have to announce your departure. I think I'm the last large creator that started out on this app doing social justice that is not trying to have a kumbaya moment. Greetings. Greetings. Good day. So you all know y'all gonna be pissed off. And yeah, I'm not trying to have a kumbaya moment. All this rhetoric people are giving into, and oh yeah, I was like, I got fired. I got fired from the radio station. Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, yeah. Listen, and I do this segment because I want to talk of, if you see my video on Coretta Scott King, how this individual just didn't even quote her correctly. We're going to talk about that tonight. Charlie Kirk and vigils that took place in Utah. But I'm going to start it off. You all know me. Um, actually, I have up here. We are dedicated towards helping those who have. It's like it's one of the things we do. And if you didn't catch it, oh, that's an intro. Yeah, I did an intro. Welcome. Hi, I'm TNathan. You're tuning in to Conversations with TNathan across my social media and on the GCPR. And I'm never late. I'm always on time because the show can't start until I get it. That's my intro. I'm not playing the intro because I'm late. I, but I want to get to. I want to get. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. And if you one took place in my city. Yeah, it's been a long day, and I know some of you all have tried to contact me, and I have been out of pocket. That's because I'm going to show you what you why. This is why, because Brian Kilmeade and Lawrence Jones decided to say the following.
Billions of
Oh,
dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of
I'm gonna
them
play
don't
this.
want to take the
Come back.
program.
I don't like. I can't get this bigger than that. I know you all. All right, let's get it. Let's start it from the beginning now. I forgot it was small. But they said this on Fox News.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them
Right?
don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's
Or,
the way it has to be now.
or involuntary lethal
Yep.
injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this: we're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
Did you all hear that? Yeah, that's what he said. Involuntary injection and basically just kill them. You know how many homeless veterans there are in this country? You know how many homeless children there are in this country? This was live on air. But let me tell you this, right? Has anybody seen any calls for them to fire him as much as people are being fired for exercising their freedom of speech by not commemorating Charlie Kirk? I always call him Charlie Kirk. But see, this is what I tell you all when I say the opposition, the oppressors, the right and left brigade, they stick together. They stick together. This was on Fox and Friends. This was on Fox and Friends Friday. This was on Fox and Friends. This is not a hot mic moment. They were on the air. They were on the air when they said this. And I guess he's come out and gave an apology recently. I'm gonna play this one more time because I want you all to hear this. I want you to hear this. And I want you to understand why I won't be changing anything about Fred.
Billions of dollars to mental health
I
and the
got
homeless population. A lot of them don't want to
Jay,
take the
you got
programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary.
see,
You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
and you notice how neither one of these two, Anderson, I think her name is Ainsworth Anderson, something like that. She didn't say anything. The little Rocky Raccoon on the side didn't say anything. They just kept going. Like this was like we've had these conversations. But because freedom of speech, this is right under freedom of speech, and he's white, and it's Fox, and he's right. This is why. What's up, Gracie? Thank you, Gracie. We got the cookies for those who are homeless. For people who are in St. Louis, y'all want to give us some help. Gracie has got the cookies there. Now we just have to get there and get the food, and we'll come back to that. Thank you, Gracie. I really appreciate it. But this is on Fox. This is on Fox, and people are like, turn down the rhetoric. And I keep telling you all, who started this rhetoric? Who's who started this fire? Who started? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Django. That who do y'all? I understand you say Trump is in charge. Oh, Rupert Murdoch is in charge. That's y'all got to stop acting like Trump is the only racist bigot in this country with a platform to enact their racist and bigot policy. No, no, Rupert Murdoch. This has been Fox. This has been Fox. I am so tired. Yep, I am not even appealing this. I'm just get it off my screen. I'm not appealing. I am not appealing. Live go down, just go down. I still got my radio show. Y'all act like this we're at this point in this country just because of Donald Trump. Where have you all been for the last, I don't know, my lifetime? I just did a video, right? I just did a video if they haven't taken it down. And I'm gonna share it with you too. But this is why I have been busy because there was, and I need to get a deer stand. I need to get a deer stand and hang out because people are taking pop shots at those who have to be homeless. People are taking pop shots. Ever since I watched DC and watched how they're treating the homeless and watching them bulldoze camps and putting, oh, we're going to make available resources that they haven't. Yeah, I'm putting on Vaseline and going in front of on my teeth because that's what you got to do. You got to smile in these people's faces to get them to do the bare minimum of helping people. Like this should be the bare minimum of requirement. But no, they think I'm going to come in, and that's where one of the problem that I'm going to come in and be, Negro talking about. Could you help the community? If you keep fucking with me, I will take everything I want from the community. So I more on that thing because you see my shirt. This is Nat Turner Day. Today, this is the mood I'm in. That's why I have this on. I'm in my 1831 mood. This is Nat Turner, and a lot of these kumbaya moments singing people have shown me I can't depend on them. Can't depend on this. This is what they're doing. Why they're talking about turn down the rhetoric and we don't support this and words. And this is what he says. This is what he says. He said to involuntarily inject them and kill them. Like, maybe. Maybe I hate this quoting. I hate he didn't just say inject them. He said involuntary.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to
I will
give
make all
you,
them homeless.
or You decide
I'll make all
that
of
you're
them
going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this: we're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake
They
up.
didn't stutter. They didn't stutter, and didn't break. Listen, they didn't even break. No one on this on of that was like, "You said what?" No, they just kept talking. They just kept talking. Nobody tried to check him. So that's how I tell you. That's who they are. So this is who we are, right? If you want to stop this, stop advocating for the destruction of people based upon your privilege. Yeah, stop. That's it. So this is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. We have to, like I told you, I'm always going to be the person of action. So while you all people are talking about the issue, we're doing things to protect people from the issue. Like I say, dear Stan from Mississippi. That's all I'm gonna say. From Mississippi, a deer stand. Yep, a deer stand. And this is what you we talking about. Oh, we're gonna turn the rating down. We're gonna turn the rating down. Yeah, yeah, of course. And then we got what happened. This did you all see the Charlie Kirk um in in Utah? They had a visual forum in Salt Lake City, Utah, and the UA Congresswoman got up there and quoted Coretta Scott King. Let's take a listen because nothing says "bitch please" like quoting Coretta Scott King. And I'm gonna play this in its entirety.
For President Kennedy that I feel is applicable here tonight. Quote, what moved some misguided wretch to do this horrible deed may never be known to us, but we do know that such acts are commonly stimulated by forces of hatred and malevolence, such as today are eating their way into the bloodstream of American life. End quote. Frederick Douglass, reflecting on Lincoln's legacy, said, quote, his death, which was a calamity to the nation, has not silenced his voice. His words and deeds still live and will continue to inspire generations. I hope and am confident that we will all be able to say the same of Charlie Kirk.
Excuse me. Let me get my. I'm gonna get my Ouija board while they're talking. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna tell Charlie what they're saying about me.
Coretta
Let me
Scott
get my
King,
Ouija board.
in a speech after her husband, Martin Luther King's death, said, quote, the bullet that pierced the heart of Martin Luther King Jr. could not silence the truth of his message. His dream lives on, and we carry it forward with love and courage. This underscores how MLK's call for equality and justice persisted, inspiring continued action against hate. We hope Charlie's suffering family will take comfort in the words of the psalmist, quote, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
And she lied. And she lied. Yeah, she lied. Coretta Scott King never said that. Number one, Coretta Scott King called her husband Martin, and unless she was on the cover of the book, Coretta, My Life with Martin Luther King Jr. Right? That's the cover. That's the title of the book. But she always referred to her husband as Martin. Number one, that's one. Number two, Dr. King wasn't a bullet didn't pierce his heart. Yeah, y'all know that, right? A bullet didn't pierce Dr. King's um, his heart. It went in here, right above his mouth, shattered his jaw, his severed his some major arteries in his neck, while it severed his spinal column and came to rest left under his left shoulder blade. Never pierced the heart. Yeah, even if he would have lived after all that blood loss, he would have been a quadriplegic after that. And that's why I be telling people when people be like these conspiracy theories, I want you all to stop coming to my comment section with your conspiracy theories, period. Because most of y'all don't know what you're talking about. Oh, he was suffocated at the hospital. Dr. King was basically dead when he got to the hospital. The autopsy, I just get so tired of people and they're unread, unseasoned, unstudied, unresearched conspiracy theories. I feel the same way about Charlie Kirk too. All these conspiracy theories. Listen, y'all go have your pseudo intellectual conversations and feel good about your ability to see through this all you want to, because most of y'all are just having the conversations because your asses are not doing anything in the street. I don't have time for conspiracy theory conversations. We're too busy doing the work to have these complicated conspiracy theories. It amazes me. Y'all can have these complicated conspiracy theory um, pseudo intellectual, and I call you pseudo intellectual lives because that's all they are. They're pseudo intellectual. Somebody learned some new words and they want to try them out on each other. But if you put that much energy into doing the work, the revolution could have been underway. But you put more energy. It's like, why are you even doing the work of looking for a conspiracy theory for white supremacists? All that. I'm so tired of coming by lives thinking I'm coming in to visit people I know, and you all having these goddamn lives where you're platforming all these people that had voices for 400 years, and you're still platforming because you want to prove your intellect. That's all it is. I'm about to get on a soapbox. I am about to get on a soapbox. Do not get on a soapbox, T. Nathan. But I'm tired of people that call themselves, well, T. Nathan, we understand and we agree. And the next thing I see, you're platforming a racist and a bigot. Yeah, Charlie Kirk didn't have to work hard for his position because you all gave it to him. You all gave it to him. Yeah, just like y'all give all these other bigots and racists voice when you cut off. I ad hominems and cutting off air. That's what I got for you. That's what I got for you. Show up in my comment section. That's where you're gonna be at. You're not getting no. You don't deserve the right to share screen time with me. All you deserve is every insult I can sling at you because you're not. I'm not going to have an intellectual conversation with you and change your mind over any of the weak ass bullshit you say that is so easily disproven. And I'm gonna tell you something else why I call them pseudo intellects because I've watched them allow these people on their platforms and they don't have the intellectual capacity to out talk a talking point. Yep. They don't know what a straw man is. They don't know what gaslighting truly is. They do not have the intellectual capacity to silence anybody who comes on their panel. That's why they be telling, "Oh, we're just gonna let them talk." I can do this off the top of my head. People have to stop. Well, let me look that up. Why are you a host of a program where you're platforming people who are supposed to be having points and you don't know how to dismount? I can dismantle every racist talking point I hear within 2 seconds and got the pedigree to prove it within 2 seconds. I'm listening to people that call themselves intellectuals on the liberal side and they're struggling. They're struggling and losing to even disprove a talking point. And then they wonder why they shouldn't be doing it. But they also wonder why they have young, impressionable black and brown people or young liberal leaning I don't want to call them children because they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal, right? They're some of the people, the children, especially the children I tutor, children that come around the shelter, are the ones that are really out there, and they're phenomenal. And you all are sitting here showing them that your old asses can't hold a conversation about what you say you're supposed to be about. Yeah, yeah. This is how much this pisses me off. This is how much this pisses me off. And I think let's see. Hold tight. Hold tight. Hope I got them in the right order.
The
Nope, I don't
patriarchy
have them in the
really
right order.
keeps you all from
Hold on.
centering.
I don't have them in the right order. I want to play them in
Now,
the right order.
before we start this video,
Let me.
understand this is my dog Bella, and this is Pinky, and they are both females. Got it? Got it. Now let's continue. This troglodytic translucent snow roach escapee from the Caucasus Mountains by way of, wait for it, the people under the stairs, is Utah Representative Carol Ann Lisenby. And she just recently spoke at a vigil for Charlie Kirk, where she lied. Let's get to it.
Coretta Scott King, in a speech after her husband, Martin Luther King's death, said, quote, "The bullet that pierced the heart of Martin Luther King Jr. could not silence the truth of his message. His dream lives on, and we carry it forward with love and courage." This underscores how MLK's call for equality and justice persisted, inspiring continued action against hate. We hope Charlie's suffering family will take comfort.
Now, this is the Queen, Coretta Scott King. And anybody who knows me knows how I feel about this queen. And to watch as people lie on the goddess and reference quotes that she never made is a bridge too far. See, Coretta Scott King would have never referred to Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. in that term. She would have called him Martin, for one. Coretta Scott King didn't make that quote in the first speech she gave after burying her husband on August the 27th, 1968 in Central Park, where she filled in for her husband because he was supposed to give a speech on Vietnam. And that is when she gave his 10 Commandments on the Vietnam War. She didn't mention it then. She didn't say anything like that when she gave her second speech after she buried her husband on June the 19th, 1968 in Resurrection City in Washington, D.C. at the Solidarity Day event. Didn't say it then either. She did not say it on July the 1st, 1968 at Harvard University when she gave the "We may yet not only survive, we may triumph" speech. I have listened to all three of those speeches in their entirety several times. She didn't say that in her autobiography, Coretta. She didn't say it in her book, My Life with Martin Luther King Jr. And she didn't say it in any of the interviews she gave the Reverend Dr. Barbara Reynolds in connection with her book, My Life, My Love, My Legacy. See, Coretta Scott King would have never talked about a bullet that didn't exist. The bullet that struck the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not pierce his heart. It entered his body at his right cheek, just above his mouth, shattered his jaw, then traveled to his neck where it severed major arteries and also shattered his spinal column before coming to rest in his back just above his shoulder blade. But this troglodytic Neanderthalic yogurt yeti wishes to lie on Coretta Scott King because they are so desperate to tie the death of Charlie Kirk to the memory of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Allow me to remind you all, this is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And this is not. Charlie Kirk is just your average, mediocre, run-of-the-mill white man. And no matter how many times translucent, troglodytic, and Neanderthalic yogurt yetis like Utah Representative Lisenby try to lie and try to attribute those lies to quotes by the Queen, Coretta Scott Lee, that this toilet paper hued individual was not even good enough to wipe the ass of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Now, I want to ask something because this also, I'm an equal opportunity heat seeker, right? So I asked something. Who was the center of that video? And I asked that because the damn comment section pissed me off. Because who was the center of that video? What was the center of that video? And this shows me how much people don't understand the very movement they claim they understand. It shows me. It shows me so much.
The patriarchy really keeps you all from centering black women, doesn't it?
The patriarchy
Now,
really
if you
keeps you off.
need context on this comment, please go back to the video in which I left this comment on after looking at some of the comments in the comment section that were not centering Coretta Scott King. So let's get to it. So, for those of you all who missed the point of this video, can we center Representative Carrie Ann Lisenby lying on Coretta Scott King? That's what I said. Because I was talking about how this Utah representative quoted Coretta Scott King, and Coretta Scott King never said what this representative quoted her as saying. Understand something, that the only reason the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lives in the totality that it does today is because of Coretta Scott King. And if you really want to be for real, in the history of the diaspora and of the continent, the struggle towards liberation has not been carried on the backs of black men exclusively, but it has always been held in the hearts and soul of black women. They have had to carry just as much weight as we have, while also being required to look good in high heels and walking backwards. See, here's the thing. In the fight towards liberation from the oppressor, we must not only engage in physical actions, but we must overturn the oppressor ideology, especially when it comes to the white male patriarchy, out of our spirit, our psyche, and our mind. That is why when I talk about Coretta Scott King, all you all hear is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. So, if you listen to this video just to hear me talk about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, I want you to go back to it and listen to it again and acknowledge the greatness of Coretta Scott King. Y'all have the day you deserve, and may the ancestors judge you accordingly to your work.
Whew. Do we? Did you get? Did you? Behind every great man is an even better woman. That's still dependent. That's still a dependent phrase. That's still a dependent phrase because Fannie Lou Hamer was great all by herself. All by herself. Shirley Chisholm, great all by herself. She didn't need to stand behind a man. She didn't. She didn't. Betty Shabazz. Coretta Scott King was Coretta Scott before she married Dr. King. Outspoken, piano concertas, high intellect, all those things. Coretta Scott King, and go back to the book, My Life, My Love, My Legacy, right, by Coretta Scott King, which is a phenomenal read. And a lot of things she puts to bed in that book. She puts to bed a lot of things in that book as only she could. That's what I tell people when they were like, all these pages of documents that came out because King cheated on Coretta and all that. Listen, I know some of you all might know if your husband's not cheating or not, but
don't superimpose your lacking in other people on Coretta Scott King. I like it. Coretta says in the book, right? She says, I know my husband. I know what he likes in bed. I was like, are we going there, Coretta? Coretta, I know what he likes in bed. I know what he doesn't. I know he drops his drawers on the floor and I have to pick him up in the morning. She says, she talks about it so frankly. And she says, if he was fooling around, I would have known. I would have known. But even in that instance, she still comes back and says even something more profound. She says, at the end of the day, the movement was more important than either one of us. I was like, how could you not? How could you, and it just and that's why I don't that's why I get so angry when Coretta and Betty and Fannie Lou Hamer and Angela Davis and all of these black women that were there on the ground in the movement are like people don't even know who Viola Veluza is and what she did because we still center the patriarchy in the movement. And even if these men like El Haj Malik Shabazz and like Dr. King spotlighted their wives constantly, constantly. Dr. King would start off speeches talking about where his wife was and how she is the reason he's allowed to be out here doing this because she's at home taking care of three kids, not complaining because he understands the movement is no more important. That's why I always tell people when I say, like, yeah, I'm in a relationship, but I'm married to the movement. And the person I'm with understands that. They understand that, um, well, we got this kind. I say, well, I got a meal for those who have to be homeless on this day. I want to be here for this day. And it's never, let me tell you what it is never. It is never, oh, well, you're not paying me any attention. It is never that. It is never that. And that's how Coretta was. Coretta was like, we're in this together. Betty Shabazz was like, we're in this together. And both of those women continued their husbands' legacies without them. I'm telling you, I know a lot of people are like, if you wouldn't know what you know about Dr. King today if it wasn't for Coretta Scott King. She's the one that got all of his books together, all of his writings together. She's the one. He didn't copyright all that while he was alive. She's the one responsible for the King Center, the memorials. She's the one. Right, Rain. And it's a very important thing. I remember, and then people look at these records and it's like, you don't realize, a guy was telling me, well, Coretta, J. Edgar Hoover acknowledged creating all this about. But see, this is the difference between a woman who is the backbone of a movement and a woman who must center herself in other people's movements. Coretta knew she was the center of the movement. She didn't have to center herself. Fannie Lou Hamer knew who she was. These are the I tell you, I love my dad. My dad, I got my physical strength from my dad. I got my endurance from my dad. I got the best physical genetics from my dad. I got my brain from my mom and my grandmother, and I got my ability to understand what strength truly looks like from a woman who can birth children. Because all that stuff pales in comparison to that. And that's why it's so yes, black women are the focus, but it's the women period. And that's why I be telling you all, y'all have got to stop following the male patriarchy of whiteness. White women, y'all have got to stop. You all are better than that. Y'all have got to stop because it only lessens you. It only lessens you. I'm watching people out here taking relationship advice from people who've never been in a relationship, telling you to lower your standards. And we're going to get on all that one day, not today. Because from Brian Kilmore and Lawrence Jones to watching this dire need to compare Charlie Kirk to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, so much so that you were willing to lie. And it's like I was waiting on other larger creators that are supposed to be such historians and such foundings
to correct this. None of them did. None of them did. They cried. They cried.
Well, I guess I'm what you have left because I see a lot of large creators on this app that are more interested in having kumbaya moments than the truth. Understand, this video is going to be why I'm saying all of these people with their kumbaya moments and crying over the death of a bigot and a racist need to stop quoting El Haj Malik Shabazz by any means necessary. And I'm going to get to why as this video unfolds. And if you don't know who El Haj Malik Shabazz is, that's probably part of the problem. That would be Malcolm X. Now, let's get to it. Now, this weak ass bitch is Bull Connor, and he was the public safety commissioner in Birmingham, Alabama during the civil rights movement. And
Petra
he
still in
is the
here?
one who authorized the use of high pressure fire hoses and dogs, not only against adult protesters, but also black children. And when he died in 1973, my parents didn't shed any tears. And this piece of shit is George Wallace, the longest serving governor of the state of Alabama. He ran on a platform of segregation now, segregation then, and segregation forever. He stood in the doorway and denied entrance to the University of Alabama of black students. And even when the president of the country sent the National Guard down there, he still opposed him. And I didn't hear anybody in my family crying in 1972 when he was shot, and I damn sure didn't hear them cry in 1998 when he died. And this racist governor is Ross Barnett.
Mississippi
And he
finest.
was a governor that also ran and won the governorship of the state of Mississippi on a platform of segregation. He denied James Meredith, a black man who had served, from going to the University of Mississippi. And when Ross Burnett died in 1987, I was 20 years old and I was at Jackson State University. And man, a time was had. In this moment, in light of the responses I am seeing from certain large liberal call themselves creators and their tears, they have shown me that every time they were quoting Malcolm X by any means necessary, they were only being performative. They have built their platforms on the back of the pain and suffering of black people and brown people, and they never had any intent of holding up to the legacy of these words. Allow me to remind you what Malcolm said in his own words.
We want to be recognized and respected as human beings, and we have a motto which tells somewhat how we intend to bring it about. Our motto is, by any means necessary. By whatever means is necessary to bring about complete respect and recognition of the 22 million black people in America as human beings. That's what we're for. That's what we're dedicated to.
By any means. By any means.
By any means.
A bloodbath?
Well, I think that as deplorable as the word bloodbath may sound, I think the condition that Negroes in America have already experienced too long is just as deplorable. And if it takes something that deplorable to remove this other deplorable condition, then I don't think that I think it's justified.
And remember, this is not the airport. You do not have to announce your departure. And that is on Nat Turner. Y'all have the day you deserve. And may the ancestors judge you accordingly.
Yeah, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I'm telling you, what I have learned and seen, even though I knew most of these so-called creators that started out on this app and were all with the Black Lives Matter power fist as part of their pitch, I knew they were performative because I never seen them anywhere. What's up, Cam? I never seen them anywhere. I never seen them anywhere. I didn't see them when I was in Cam State. I didn't see them when I was taking penitentiary chances going around to Oklahoma.
I didn't see them in Minnesota. I didn't see them in DC. I didn't see them people. All these people with the Black Lives Matter fists and talking about by any means necessary. They used to say by any means necessary so much during 2020, 2021. I was beginning to say, y'all get it. No, y'all don't. Because then Dean was a racist. Dean was conservative GOP hype house type individual when I used to get on him. That's what that's what it is. And then to watch this transition. Like I say, most of them built their platforms up to get millions of followers to sell merch. Yeah, sell merch. They all got merch. They all sold merch. And I don't mind selling merch if you're selling merch to put back into the community. I tried that, but I need a manager because I don't have the time and inclination to do all this. People like telling me you sell merch. Yeah, I tried that. Created the fold line and thought I'd use the money to do things. It's like, that takes management. That takes somebody who do it. I'm out here. I want to go out and fight. I don't want to. I don't want to manage. I don't want to manage. I don't even want to listen. I just throw the cash app up there and say y'all support it if y'all want to. I don't even know how to do that right because obviously I can't raise $396,000 and buy a mythical bus. Do you understand what $396,000 could do for the communities at large that we patronize? Are we still trying to get to St. Louis to help somebody feed those who happen to be homeless there? Yeah, 300. They get $396,000. We lucky to get $396, but it is what it is, and that's the reality. And so, yeah, I do feel some kind of way when I see these people who are no performative, who are not doing the work on here advertising things like delete me when I'm I was like, and y'all be sending me these videos from people who are just doing it to have advertising, and I'd be mad at you all. And I'd be wanting to cuss you all out, but I'd be like, I'm gonna keep saying it. Maybe they'll get it. Don't send me any more mediocre white boys videos that do delete me advertising on this app. I believe in delete you. Show up, delete you. Yeah, that's my philosophy. Why you all sending me these apps, these people that are always apps. Yeah, that's how I feel. I promote businesses. I don't mind promoting your business, but yeah, I'm not doing. I'm not. I'm not. I'm done with your sending me things. Now, 19 in 1968, April 27th, 1968. This is the first time Coretta, and I just want to play this because I want people to understand. Coretta carried on the legacy and moved it by light years into the future. But this is what gets me mad when I think about they talking about Coretta said this and that. No, she did. And I'm gonna play for you all. And this is a 14-minute speech. And I know some of you all, don't want, but this is Coretta Scott King. And I realized, and as I was getting angry in that comment section, that maybe people don't realize who Coretta was because most people need a man to recognize greatness of a woman. That's why I don't care what people say about Oprah. I like Oprah because she stands on business as a black woman. And if y'all can like some of these mediocre white people, then I can like Oprah. But this is Coretta Scott King, right? Her own words. This was in Central Park, and Dr. King was supposed to be here, but he was dead at this time. He was supposed to be here. This was his engagement. She could have just shown up and sat there. She just could have shown up and sit there. But this is what she chose to do. She didn't just sit.
My dear friends of peace and freedom, I come to New York today with the strong feeling that my dearly beloved husband,
You see how she talks
who
about
was
that?
snatched suddenly from our midst slightly more than 3 weeks ago now, would have wanted me to be present today. Though my heart is heavy with grief from having suffered an irreparable personal loss, My faith in the redemptive will of God is stronger today than ever before. As many of you probably know, my husband had accepted an invitation to speak to you today. And had he been here, I am sure he would have lifted your hearts and spirits to new levels of understanding in his customary fashion. I would like to share with you some notes taken from my husband's pockets upon his death. He carried many scraps of paper upon which he scribbled notes for his many speeches. Among these notes was one set which he never delivered. Perhaps they were his early thoughts for the message he was to give to you today. I am sure he would have developed and delivered them in his usual eloquent and inspired fashion. I simply read them to you as he recorded them. And I quote, 10 Commandments on Vietnam.
Here it is. You hear
Thou
this?
shalt not believe in a military victory. Number 2, thou shalt not believe in a political victory. Number 3, thou shalt not believe that they, the Vietnamese, love us. Number 4, thou shalt not believe that the Saigon government has the support of the people. Number 5, thou shalt not believe that the majority of the South Vietnamese look upon the Viet Cong as terrorists. Number 6, thou shalt not believe the figures of killed enemies or killed Americans. Number 7, thou shalt not believe that the generals know best. Number 8, thou shalt not believe that the enemy's victory means communism. Number 9, thou shalt not believe that the world supports the United States. Number 10, thou shalt not kill. These are Martin Luther King's 10 Commandments on Vietnam. You who have worked with and loved my husband so much, you who have kept alive the burning issue of war in the American conscience, you who will not be deluded by talk of peace, but who press on in the knowledge that the work of peacemaking must continue until the last gun is silent. I come to you in my grief only because you keep alive the work and dreams for which my husband gave his life. My husband derived so much of his strength and inspiration from the love of people who shared his dream, that I too now come hoping you might strengthen me for the lonely road ahead. 1967 that my husband gave his major address against the war in Vietnam. On April 4th, 1968, he was assassinated. I remember how he agonized over the great misunderstanding which took place as a result of his position on the Vietnam War. His motives were questioned, his credentials were challenged, and his loyalty to this nation maligned. Now, 1 year later, we see almost unbelievable results coming from all of our united efforts. Had we then suggested the possibility of two peace candidates as front runners for the presidency of the United States, our sanity certainly would have been questioned. Yet I need not trace for you how many of our hopes have been realized in these 12 short months. Never in the history of this nation have the people been so forceful in reversing the policy of our government in regard to war. We are indeed on the threshold of a new day for the peacemakers. But just as conscientious action has reversed the tide of public opinion and government policy, we must now turn our attention and the sole force of the movement of people of goodwill to the problems of the poor here at home. My husband always saw the problem of racism and poverty here at home and militarism abroad as two sides of the same coin. In fact, it is even very clear that our policy at home is to try to solve social problems through military means, just as we have done abroad.
Does it sound familiar?
The interrelatedness of domestic and foreign affairs is no longer questioned. The bombs we drop on the people of Vietnam continue to explode at home with all of their devastating potential. And so I would invite you to join us in Washington in our effort to enable the poor people of this nation to enjoy a fair share of America's blessing. There is no reason why a nation as rich as ours should be blighted by poverty, disease, and illiteracy. It is plain that we don't care about our poor people except to exploit them as cheap labor and victimize them through excessive rents and consumer prices. Our Congress passes laws which subsidize corporation farms, oil companies, airlines, and houses for suburbia. But when they turn their attention to the poor, they suddenly become concerned about balancing the budget and cut back on funds for Head Start, Medicare, and mental health appropriations. The most tragic of these cuts is the welfare section to the Social Security Amendment, which freezes federal funds for millions of needy children who are desperately poor but who do not receive public assistance. It forces mothers to leave their children and accept work or training, leaving their children to grow up in the streets as tomorrow's social problems. This law must be repealed, and I encourage you to join welfare mothers on May 12th, Mother's Day, and call upon Congress to establish a guaranteed annual income instead of these racist and archaic measures. These measures which dehumanize God's children and create more social problems than they solve. We will be marching toward Washington soon. On Thursday, May 2nd, we will return to Memphis to begin where my husband was slain and kick off his Poor People's Campaign. We will be marching toward Washington to demand that America share its abundant life with all its citizens. We should arrive in Washington by May 17th. I invite you to support the purposes of this march and to join us in Washington on May 30th for the Memorial Day weekend. I would now like to address myself to the women. The woman power of this nation can be the power which makes us whole and heals the broken community now so shattered by war and poverty and racism. I have great faith in the power of women who will dedicate themselves wholeheartedly to the task of remaking our society. I believe that the women of this nation and of the world are the best and last hope for a world of peace and brotherhood. This challenge is simply but profoundly stated in the words of one of the greatest black poets, the late Langston Hughes. He called the poem Mother to Son, but it speaks to the sons and the daughters of this generation and those yet unborn. It speaks of the determination and the indestructible spirit of a black people who refuse to be conquered. This spirit must somehow be imbued in the hearts and souls of women and their sons everywhere. Listen to this black mother as she counsels her son in all of her ungrammatical profundity. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. Bare. But all the time I've been climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you sit down on the steps 'cause you finds it's kinda hard. Don't you stop now. For I's still going, honey. I's still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. With this determination, with this faith, we will be able to create new homes, new communities, new cities, a new nation, yea, a new world, which we desperately need.
I give you Coretta Scott King. And that's what I guess that's what irritates me. It's like she covers so much. And then I think about people sitting out. And then we're like, do you hear Coretta? Coretta, this was 3 weeks after she lost the love of her life. 3 weeks after she lost the love of her life. And she is fulfilling his obligations because that's what a team does. She's fulfilling the obligations of the movement. 3 weeks. And you got people talking about they're sitting out after one election. You heard her. She told them, she's like, we keep going. We keep moving. And that's why I've been telling you all. These are the things I grew up on. These are the things I learned. And I'm listening to people and they'll talk about these people. And I say, but you don't know these people. You don't know Coretta Scott King in her own words. While y'all out here always quoting I Have a Dream incorrectly, Coretta was reinforcing the dream into reality. That's one thing about Coretta. Is also, if you notice when she starts to speaking, she speaks more practical than her husband. Her husband had the dream, but Coretta had the vision of how to make it a reality. I don't get me wrong. I am not the nonviolent type. I just believe we have to get to through violence to get to the world they're talking about. Coretta was practical. Coretta, the Ten Commandments of Vietnam. Come on. I don't think people understand how much she helped Dr. King write. And it was more evident after he was gone. If you think this speech is phenomenal, you ought to hear the one she gave at Harvard and later that year. The one she gave in Resurrection City in DC in June. I mean, and then to hear people lie on her, it really gets my blood boiling. And then to get all these so-called large content creators that are supposed to be so intellectually um, sound, and they don't even come to her defense. There was no chat, right? There was no chat GPT. This is not chat GPT. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Brain, because that got me to the other part. But I'm going to have a conversation with you all. I have to sign out of, of the GCPR network. GCPR, thank you. Thank you, DJ, for allowing me this opportunity. If you all want to hear the rest of this conversation, you all know where I'm at. I'll be back tomorrow, though. Same Wakanda station, same Black Panther time, and I will see you all then. Y'all. Peace. All right, signed out there, sign out here. But it's the idea, right? That right now, in other words, and also, I want you all to stop sending me any news about TikTok going somewhere. I don't want to see nobody's. I ought to go through and make a M2, all these M2 videos y'all was sending me talking about TikTok is going away. And what did I tell you all about TikTok? It's like it makes me upset that people don't believe me until after it's true. And it's like, what I tell you about TikTok? All the M2 video. Oh, we're gonna go to M2. We're not going anywhere. I kept saying that. If it does go, and if it did go somewhere, y'all act like we didn't have a life before TikTok. I don't know about you all, but I had a life before TikTok. Yeah. But anyway, there's some deal. I don't care about the details of the deal because Besson didn't know the details of the deal. Besson is the Treasury Secretary, and he was so vague. I thought he was actually um, on trial for something. He was so vague. So I don't know any details. I don't know what the algorithm gonna do. I don't care. TikTok is the tool, and I am the master of the tool, not the other way around. Whatever it is, I'll find a way to deal with it or not. But I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. But I was, and I'm. This is why going back to like you, Rain, we talk because we talk about. I'm listening right now. We seem to be in the powerful grips. Do y'all want me to get larger? Am I too small? I can get larger. Hold on. We seem to be in the powerful grip, right? Take off. Jessica calls these my Hellboy horns. So I take them off. We seem to be in the powerful grip of this. Let's blame social media for all the ills of society. Let's blame social media for all the ills of society. Oh, people are radicalized on social media, and social media is bad and all that. Hold the mirror up to yourselves. Hold the mirror. We didn't have social media in 1619. We didn't have social media during Jim Crow.
We didn't have social media when women couldn't vote. And it's like people talking about these things like, oh, social media and all that. Social media doesn't raise your children. Bad parenting allows social media to raise your children. Social media, let me tell you, I did not come to social media looking for opinions about life. I did not come to social media looking for an identity. I didn't. I brought my identity to social media. So when I hear people talk about, oh, well, no, they did it because of social media. I want to know your excuses for enslaving millions of people that social media didn't exist. I want to know why the United States did a lot of the things it did around the world without social media. I want to know why you all burned down black cities and enclaves between 1919 and 1924 when there was no social media. I want to know who killed Dr. King if there was no social media around. Right, where that's why I tell people. It's like I hear all this about social media. That's like me being mad that a hammer exists. But these are the same people that want to blame social media, but they say guns don't kill people, people kill people. The same people that don't want to lose their Second Amendment rights and telling you every time something happens, like guns don't kill people, people kill people. But they did turn around and say social media is the ills of the world. Listen, no, you all are. I just be listening to people and I be listening to, and they be like, yeah, we got to do something about social media. Are you all gonna stop existing? Are you all gonna stop existing? Is society? That's why people are talking about AI. I was like, I'm not scared of AI. Listen, if anything, racism and bigotry has taught me to be ready for anything that somebody who controls AI that's a racist or being can throw at me. Which you think I be like looking at things and people be sending me things and say, y'all can't tell that's AI generated. Is it just me? People will send me things and I was like, the fingers didn't give it away. Or they'll say something. They will send me videos and they was like, so and so said this. And I'm like, if they had a video of so and so saying that, why did they put all these pieces together and just tell you what so and so said? That's not information. There's a young man that was found hanging from a tree in Mississippi this morning, 7:30 this morning, 7 o'clock this morning, in Cleveland, Mississippi. And if you follow me on my journey through the South this spring, we went through Mound Bayou. Mound Bayou is right over Cleveland, Mississippi, and Cleveland, Mississippi is Mississippi Delta State University. So a young 21-year-old man, black man, Trey Reed, was found hanging from a tree this morning. And the campus police said they don't suspect any foul play. That's the thing they're going. I'm not a conspiracy theory. So my angle wasn't that he couldn't have killed himself. I was like, why are you all so quick to rule out foul play without offering any evidence of that foul play? That was my whole thing. And then people say, I see large creators making videos where both his arms and his legs were broken. And I'm like, why do y'all hop on Beyonce's internet and start things like that with no source material? No source material. I'm watching large creators say stuff like this, and I'm like, I'm from Mississippi. I have people I could call in Mississippi and talk about this. Shay is from Mississippi. As a matter of fact, Shay is from Cleveland. And I'm still like, where are you all sourcing this from? Where are y'all sourcing this from? And why do y'all listen to people who will not even source their information? Oh, I heard it. I told you, I don't aim to be first. I aim to be accurate. I don't aim to be first. I aim to be accurate. I want you all to build up the faith. So when C. Nathan says something, he has looked into it. Because I don't have to make retraction videos. And most of them don't make retraction videos. They'll just silently remove the video and pretend like they never said anything. Even legacy media been doing this with the church. Yeah, let me tell you something, right? The idea that I am watching so many act like crawfish going into their holes over their stand. This is what tells me that I know we have very few serious accomplices. We have those are just allies, and allies are only around until it becomes incumbent upon them that they might get splattered with something, and then they're gonna like you get splattered, and I'll come back to help you clean up. That's what I see. You get splattered, and I'll help you come back to clean up. No, I, y'all don't realize. Y'all don't realize when my numbers fluctuate a lot. Sometimes it's because I'm cleaning house. I clean house because I realize some people are not. We're not on the same sheet of. We're not fighting for the same thing. The martyrdom of him is making me so angry. Like I can't keep clean. I'm telling you, a lot of these creators that you all, y'all gonna be like, I don't know what they say because I'm not, I don't follow them or block. Yeah, because I'm sorry. When you show me who you are, I'm like my Angelo told me. Not only do I believe you, I believe you the first time. I believe you the first time. Oh, we can't be, we can't be advocating for. And then that let me know what you feel about me, because I will tell you, I'm an advocate of violence if that is the only language you speak. I'm multilingual. Multilingual. And if violence is the language you speak, I am prepared to have a whole conversation with you. Because at the end of the day, what do you mean? Racists and bigots are doing racist and bigot shit, and I'm gonna be like, listen, Tommy, would you stop doing that, please? You're really hurting us. We're not gonna do anything to you, but talk to you about it. But you're really hurting us, Tommy. Bam, 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 boom. Everything Tommy was talking about ended when Tommy ended. I don't try to issue. I mean, I don't even try to reason with big y'all. I don't try to reason with and they like and they hate it when I talk about their mom and their dad. So they hate it. That's why I tell them they're not getting nowhere near my dick, but I tell them that they hate it. This live is going down, sorry, people. Yeah, this live. I knew it when it, yeah, let me say. So if you want to get it in, yes, we're trying to get the money together for the meals for those who have been homeless. I've been giving up on school supplies. I'm just using boosters, trying to get more school supplies. We're doing what we have to do. But yeah, we're trying to get the money together. Please, if you'd like to donate. I done tried everything I know. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. Um, it amazed me. Gracie gave me an idea, but as soon as she gave me the idea, people just started Googling me because the answers are Googleable. So that didn't work. The dolls don't work. I did have two people buy dolls and tell me to give them to young people that want them. And I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Give them a Nerf gun collection. Oh, Bella's well. Bella's well. And Bella's circling around, looking for a place to lay back down at. She'll wake up. Oh, all of them. I mean, it's for my students. For my students, all of them. Um, I give up. I'm not gonna get them anything like that. But the students I tutor are students that the children of migrants that are not comfortable going to school because we don't have laws in school to keep them from being harassed, and they feel like they'll get their parents in trouble. So yes, school supplies, paper, especially paper, all that. But someone asked me other stuff, and I was like, we looked at it, they got all the stuff together, and they were like, let's send it to you. And I was like, we looked at the price, and we was like, yeah, no, don't do that, because it costs more to send the supplies. It costs to get the supplies are worth. It's like we're losing money to shipping. So then she sent me money. She just sent me money and say, "How to do what you need to because it's too expensive to ship the supplies from everywhere." But drop my phone and scroll out, not too much on my client. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Like I said, we're going to be in St. Louis either the last of this week or the second of the next week. But we're doing what we can. We gotta go. We're supposed to go to Washington before the National Guard leaves. To help rig out. Um, I don't know. And that's did get the camp moved into a new location. And that's the thing about. Let me tell you something about in this climate of camps for those who have to be homeless, right? Number one, it's going to start getting cold, so you have to think about that. If you all ever get into it, you have to think about that where you find placing that. You also have to think about that people are out here seriously trying to hurt those who have to be homeless. There are people out here trying to seriously hurt. Thank you, Weber. There are people seriously out here trying to hurt those who have to be homeless, and they're getting the okay from their is calling the folks out there. Right. And he's out there by himself, and I need to be out there with him. I need to be out there with him because he was with me on the Supreme Court steps. And every time I look around, he's basically by himself out there. I need to go out there with him. So I'm trying to get that together. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions because this is not like um, the heyday of the civil rights movement where we could go places and people would put us up in their homes because we couldn't stay in hotels unless you went even when you went to Mountain Bayou, T.W. Howard would take you in. And, I called it the Chitlin Circuit of the civil rights movement because people were always willing to help. Uh, they were always willing to help. That's why I tell you when I talk about revolution in this day and age, sometimes I think I was born out of time. Um, when I look at what people like Fred Hampton were able to accomplish by the time they were 21, and don't get me wrong, a lot of things in Mississippi, we did a lot of things in Mississippi. It's just like we don't have that base like we used to have. We don't have that base where people can get out and really do things. I go back even as far as 2019, 2020. I remember I was all over the place. And people were like, hey, come here, we got this, you can do this. I'll burn something down and we'll get you out of town. I don't have my own that anymore. I don't have that. But most of those were a lot of black women. I told you a story about the black woman who picked me up on the side of the road and it was like, hey, where you going? I say, I'm just trying to get out of town, man. I'm just trying to get out of town, ma'am. And she was like, yeah, I know. And it was just so comforting to know. She said, I know, well, I know. Let's get it. And it's like, it just takes me out of town. I don't know. It takes me all the way to Columbia, Missouri. Yeah, yeah. Statute of limitation hasn't run out on what we burned down, so I can't tell you. But she took me to Columbia, Missouri. I have family in D.C. and the homeless population is struggling with the national park. They're also struggling because they're also tearing down their camps. You just woke up. Yeah, they're tearing down camps. They've torn down over 50 camps in D.C. Columbia hits different. Yeah, Columbia, Missouri, it does. I wind up staying there and attend attending the University of Mizzou, um, under a different name. I will write a book about that's. I think I will one day write a book about those years. Yeah, when it when the name I would pull a Carolyn Kennedy. I would like write the book, but you can't release it until until such and such date. I have to change because I don't. I'm like I wouldn't change the names to protect the innocent because I figured, hey, we just release it when everybody dead. And sending backpacks, etc. But still, so, yeah. That's it. I did get all the children backpacks. I did get all the children. Man, I got a lot of stuff. It's just like you, if you ever tutored or you ever taught, you know that stuff goes. But they do have backpacks. Every one of them has new backpacks. I did get every one of them new backpacks. If I would have known that my credit card was going to be frozen because of hospital bills, I would have charged everything on my credit card that I could have before that happened. Um, like I say, we're gonna get Jamie cremated and out where he needs to go. For the first week of August, October, we're gonna get Jamie done up because I promised him that I would cremate him. So that's what's gonna happen. And if you know me, you know I'm gonna do it. If I promise something, I'm going to do it no matter what else comes along. So we're gonna get Jamie cremated by the 1st of October. His ashes for life him. And we're gonna continue to help those who have, if we get supplies. Blue Horizon text me. Did I don't know if I follow you. Send me a text. Send me a DM. I don't like giving out my address, and post office boxes are expensive for large supplies. So we can talk. We can talk. I have too many stalkers and too many people who are. I have. It's amazing me because I laugh it off. People are like, how do you laugh it off, right? Because I'm still here. I'm 57. I think about there's this, and this is Malcolm. I'm see if I can find the right one. Hold on, let me find the right one. But this is Malcolm. And I've always felt this. What Malcolm says here, I've always felt it. I feel the same way. I tell people there are things I could have been, I could have been, and I think about that, and people are like, oh, there's no more. It's not morbid. It's like it's like this is who we are. You know, I think about this all the time. This is one of my favorite.
No, I don't worry. I tell you, I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
And that's me. I mean, and people think it's like it's bravado. It's not. It's not bravado. It's the idea that either you live for something or you don't. And I've reached this point in my life that I know the ground I stand on. Even if other people don't, I know the ground I stand on. And it's where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, and that's where I'm supposed to be. So I don't. That's what people don't realize. So you meet me, you hang out. He's like, you have no fear when it comes to people. No, I don't, because the worst you can do is kill me. The worst the ancestors can do is deny me entrance beyond the veil, and then I'm gonna have a problem. The worst you can do is kill me. The worst the ancestors can do. I live my life because I want to get to the veil, and I want the ancestors to say, "Well done." That's what I want. I want the ancestors to say, "Well done." I want to live land of the ancestors, and I know to do that, the work needs to be done because they made too many sacrifices for me. They made too many sacrifices for me not to do it. And that's why I say when people are like, "Oh, aren't you worried about this?" So number one, I'm not going to live my life. Even when I was on the run, it was so funny. That decade I was on the run when I didn't hide. And people don't realize I was not hiding around the country. I just was like, I'm going to live. I'm going to live, and I'm going to do the work. So I don't know. I'll make the book. I'm like, who's gonna play me in the movie? I don't know. I don't know. It depends. It's stages of this that they have to have. Gotta have the little young jit age when I was wilding. Gotta have that age. I don't know who can do that. Then you gotta have the transition age where I grew into my head because I was a little bitty guy with a big ass head. I think my head has been the same size all my life. I think that's why my mother didn't have any more children. Um, and she's like, yeah, no more. Yeah. So I don't know. You might need you shed some weight from your heart before you put it against the feather. Listen, Anubis, the feather of mine. Yeah, I'm already working on rigging that. I got it. Yeah, I got ancestors working on that. Yeah, I'm gonna make it beyond the veil. I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna make it beyond the veil, and I'm going to make it to the land of the ancestors. Yeah, mot or no mot, I'll beat my look. I'll beat my ass when I get there, trying to keep me from beyond the veil. Yeah, mom waiting for me. Yeah, but and that's what you can do. When you come from a culture where death is just a transition, it's like, and that's why I tell you, sir, death is never the reason why I don't do something. It's never the reason. I don't sit around and think about, oh, I could die fighting for so and so and so. I never think that. I think that as long as I'm in service, it's all good. It's all good. You just gave it away. Bella is Anubis. No, Bella's is Bella is. If you think harder, you would think it's not Anubis. Bella is. Try another one. Try another. You close, but it's not Anubis. Yeah, not Anubis. So you're gonna need an attorney in the afterlife too. Yeah, cause I'm right. Yeah, 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 probably, probably. Because if I do have some unfinished work, I'm just gonna hang out. I'm gonna just treat it as a retreat for a little while, then come back swinging. Yeah, I probably do. But it's late. Also, I noticed a lot of y'all went to sleep during the marathon. It was like you left Olivia and I up, and you all went to sleep during the marathon. So I am going to. I said 4 movies in a row is just too much for some of you all. So we're gonna watch. I'm gonna replay the last two um, Conjuring movies. The Devil May Be and the final one that just came out. We're gonna replay those because you all fell asleep. I know I'm going to need one. Yeah, it's like y'all fell asleep. So I was talking and only Olivia was answering. So I said, everybody sleep. So we're going to revisit those 2 movies. I got another movie called The Long Walk. It's another horror movie. Um, there you go. Yeah. That- now you're getting it, pirate. I knew you test your knowledge. And then you gotta also remember that I am also a Shante. I'm a Shante from my grandmother. So there are a couple of Orisha you need to know in there also. But if y'all didn't know what I'm just talking about, don't worry about it. I'm sure Pirate does. But and some of you all pick up on it. Any of y'all know me know that my grandmother immigrated to this country from Ghana in 1921. And you know that she brought with her and instilled in me the Orisha and the Ashanti culture. So should have known by the apple pie. I know what you're saying. I know you do. And I bet Rain does too, because Rain is also, uh, I didn't realize, I took me, Rain is a Doctor Who fan. And Doctor Who covers a lot of cultural um, phenomena. And so that's good. You're wrong for that. I will shut down the whole comment section on Twitter. Don't let it happen. Listen, listen. It was just me and Olivia talking. It was like I was like, Anybody still up?" Olivia was the only one still up. So we're gonna watch the other 2 Conjuring. Hopefully this weekend. This weekend, uh, this weekend, or maybe before we can do some things before that. But it is 11:43. Any questions? I'm gonna log out of YouTube. You to the